Hey everyone, my name is JJ Paulson. I'm a student entrepreneur and co-founder of the tech startup Perch. I want to invite you for coffee and conversation on our weekly series, Coffee Talks. We're here to showcase the heartbeat of Gainesville's entrepreneurial spirit. I want to give a quick thank you as this series is made possible by Afternoon Roasting and Seven Ashes Productions. So grab your favorite mug, settle in, and let's explore the exciting world of entrepreneurship together. Now let's meet this week's guest.
So welcome again. We took a week off. This is Coffee Talks. This will be our fifth one. I'm excited about the next stretch, which is, now we're kind of getting ourselves into the groove of things. We're going to be featuring some local creatives and just creators. And also, I think you know Reggie from Daily Morning. He'll be here next week.
We work together. Oh,
Yep.
nice.
So,
Cool.
so we're intentionally getting into more of featuring local artisans and creators and makers, right?
Love it.
And
it's great.
What I'm understanding is just your story is incredibly unique. So leading up to this, I actually talked with my 4-year-old.
Okay.
He's been drawing quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm like, look, I'm meeting with an artist, and I'm excited for at one point, connect you guys, because I know that you love to inspire young artists and also, local artists.
Yeah, I've been asked about giving some lessons. I'm doing some workshops with kids and stuff like that, since my work is very kid friendly,
Right.
but it's also grown up friendly. So I feel that it's for everybody.
So this is Ari Uberti.
Yes.
I literally know you through Instagram, right? And what I'm realizing is that Gainesville is such a small college town, but yet it's very rich in culture, right?
It is.
And your story is very unique to that. I look forward to tease some of it out today.
Of course.
So this series is by Starter Space, Seed, which is the incubator here at Santa Fe, Start GMV, and then also GTech. And what that really all means is that we all want to celebrate the local startup community and the creators, right? So if you're ready, we'll jump into it.
Of course. Yeah, no, Gainesville is a great community for everything that is locally made. There's a lot of support. Actually, when I first got to United States, our first city was Miami. And I mean, over there, of course, it's a little bit harder because it's bigger and you have a lot of competition and stuff. And there's, it's not so maybe like making friends in business. I mean, it's not so easy. But here, I mean, since the first time that I came to visit Gainesville, I fell in love with the city. And when I started to introduce my art and everything, I felt that friendly support, which it was amazing. It was not just I don't feel that anybody's competing against each other when we do things local.
Sure.
It's more support, because I feel that here there's a space for everybody. Everybody has the right to create and share it, and when you open yourself to that, I think the things flow a little bit better.
So as you shared, you arrived here in the U.S. So maybe that's a good way to start. Share a little bit about who you are and how you come to be an artist, and now it seems to be all over. Every market you're there.
I tried to. I sign up and everything. So
please,
I want to be out. Yeah.
So share a little bit about who you are.
So my name is Ariana Leon Uberti, but I go by Ari Uberti, and that's the name of my business as well. I'm an illustrator, and I found art by accident. Okay. So in 2014, I was close to graduate from college, but I was kind of lost in that moment a little bit. I didn't like too much the career that I chose, which was marketing management. At the end, it helped me a lot.
Sure.
So I didn't understand that in that moment. But I was sure that I didn't want to, work in a company or something like that. I didn't see myself into that. I was like, I want to do something that is not the usual, business or the usual job. I always knew that I wanted to do something different. So I was in a party with some friends at the beach. So I had a little accident. I fell from a tree. And after that, I was in recovery, and I discovered art. So I think art, it kind of I was okay, but kind of saved me from being so lost in what I wanted to do. And of course, I started to share it in social media with all my friends and my family and stuff, and everybody was like, "Oh, we really like this. You should do shirts or used to do like mugs or whatever. Do you sell it? And I was like, okay, I think I found my, my purpose.
Sure.
And also like what I wanted like to do. So yeah, I said that I discovered art by accident, and since then, that was in 2014.
Okay.
And since then, it's been like a journey, like roller coaster. But it became my whole personality. So that's. Yeah.
Where did that happen? Was that in Miami?
No, that was in Venezuela.
Ah, that's before you got to the
Yeah,
US.
that's before.
Got it,
So
okay.
I worked in Venezuela for a year,
Okay.
like while I was, discovering what I wanted to do.
Sure.
If I wanted to do just art for the walls, or if I wanted to do something more. Now I do is art that is functional. I like to people be able to take it like everywhere, and also like for your house or for whatever. So in Venezuela, I started with like the phone cases.
Got it.
It was like my first product, and it was mostly like my main thing. So I worked over there for over a year until, well, the situation of the country was not like very, let's call it like appropriate. And I started to get like a little bit desperate. I was like, okay, if I want to do this for a living, unfortunately, I can't stay here.
Sure.
So I have to try to, look other like places where maybe people are more like accepting like art and stuff like that, and also like getting all my supplies and everything. So after that, I moved to Spain.
Okay.
We were there, my husband and I, for over a year, and I tried as well with my art. It was a little bit rough.
Got it.
And after that, we decided to move over here.
Okay.
And I mean, it's the place where, I think it's a place where your dreams can come true if you work hard.
It's quite a journey.
It's a journey. It's been, there's more. So
right.
but I don't want to
No,
let
no,
you
no.
know to like overwhelm everything. But it's been, we've been moving a lot.
So before that accident,
Yes.
and before you discover art, were you trained or nothing, right?
Nothing. I always loved it.
Got it.
I was a kid that I helped my friends to do the love letters for their like girlfriends and stuff like that. So I was always very creative.
Got it.
And I always like, for example, I remember that in high school or like in college, I always wanted to do that creative part of stuff. I'm really bad at numbers. So I always liked that, but I never saw it as a way of living. You know, I was like, oh, this is what I like, but how can I make a living? I never thought about that.
Got it.
So, and also in Latin America, it's a little bit rough or a little bit hard to say, I'm gonna live from art. So everybody say that you're not gonna have a good job, or you're gonna, you're not gonna have a good path if you follow that. But yeah, it's been a journey since then. So I always liked it. So I think that was always like inside me.
Sure.
And also my mom was great with imagination. She always told me stories, and she always like was very like into that, to like let my imagination flow as I wanted.
Right.
So I think that also helped me. So I think it's very important for kids to have that like moments of creativity or like imagination, or like believe in things that maybe are not like real.
Right.
So that's what it leads you to. It can lead you to that, to the art.
And that's what seems to me is what unique about what you offer, right?
Yeah.
You know, you tell your story through Instagram.
Yes.
You make yourself available to the market, but it's your art that draws people in, right? And so help me understand. You've been exposed to that, clearly supported by your mom and your family. Once you've decided, you know, hey, I can actually make a living and really fully be an artist, right? And to your comment, I don't think it's just Latin America. I think it's the same as here, right? Even in the U.S., when you become an artist, it gets a little bit
kind of like, it's a rough
dicey,
path. It's
right?
not like the common thing to
Right.
do, you know? People think that you're gonna have more like, it's gonna be more like difficult.
Sure.
And maybe when you're like, when you're in college or in high school trying to decide what are you going to do,
Right.
if people start telling you that, you maybe like rather to step backwards
Right.
and no, go for it.
Right.
It's scary. It's a little bit scary because it's not the normal thing that people do. But I've been doing art since 2014, but like officially like, okay, I can make a living of this, I have 2 years only. Like I'm a full-time artist.
Sure. So what I was hoping to get to is really understand just again looking at your art, right? It's very unique, it's yours, right? It's your process and it's your way of creating, and that's what your way of sharing it with the world, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, creative, and especially in today's digital world, right?
Yes.
It can be a number of different things. You said you're an illustrator, right?
Yes.
And so, what is your process? How do you even have a process? Like, how do you say, hey, I have this body of work, now I want to create more? Like, whether it's a mirror, do you have a process?
It's very random.
Okay.
It's not like actually as like a process that I follow. I'm terrible like organizing myself.
Sure.
So I guess that that you can my art reflects myself a lot because it's very busy and it's very like crazy. There's a bunch of things going on and my brain's worked like that. I don't have like a creative process as itself because I illustrate what I'm feeling at the moment. But I also do the commissions. So always the commissions, like murals that are, like in a specific theme. I also do custom art for people, like cartoons with family and stuff like that. Oh, of course, the creative process is a little bit more serious because, I have to follow some kind of like prompts.
Right,
Let's call them prompts. But it's also like very free. As an artist, I think you if you want to be like unique and you want to be like, I always wanted my art to be noticeable. Like, listen, when you see it, that's hers.
Yep. You have a signature behind it.
Exactly, like a signature. So that I feel that's important for everybody, for all the artists that never lose their scent. You know that.
So I always say this. At least the way that you present yourself on Instagram, it seems as if you have a team behind you. So however it is that it's messy behind the scene, it seems very well put together and very coordinated. And
I always say that it could be better, but Instagram is, or like any social media, it's a great tool to put yourself out. There's a lot of people that are still like afraid like of using it because they feel that, I'm not gonna be like recording myself. I don't do that. I don't I don't show when I'm cooking or where I wake up or whatever. I don't show that.
Right.
So you can be the most important thing is to be like authentic as you are, like very natural. And people are gonna like the people that you're going to attract are the people that are gonna be like your like followers or whatever are gonna be like identified with you. You just have to be yourself. That's the most important thing.
And like you said, you've been really focusing in this for the last 2 years. So also you have to be an entrepreneur, right? You really got to do everything else, right? That comes with the artistic part.
Yes.
So if I'm starting out and I say, look, whatever epiphany is, I want to be an artist.
Good. That's how it happens.
What kind of advice would you give? So you mentioned authenticity, right? To be yourself. How does one get to be what you are? Where you're just, it seems to me, right? You're living what it is that you live. There's no difference. You don't just like, well, I'm an artist here and then I want to go and do something else here.
I just do that. That's what I do. I don't do like anything. Like I'm very lucky right now.
Right.
Because not everybody is able like to say that, I just live from art. And I always joke because I always say, I live from silly illustrations, who can do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the first things that if you're like starting, that is one of the most difficult ones is you have to believe in what you do and you have to love it. If you don't love it, if you don't love what you really are like doing or creating, it doesn't have to be art. It can be related with anything else like baking or doing jewelry or whatever. You just have to believe that it's good, and you also have to believe you have to love it, because if you don't do that, you're more willing to quit when the difficult times are coming. That sometimes I feel that difficult times are more than like the good ones. So or at least they hit you like hard. So if you don't love it, you're gonna be more willing to quit. You have to believe in what you do. Also, like a lot of people believe that if they're going to start a business, they have to like invest a lot and have the best equipment and have everything. You just can start with what you have. And again, I'm gonna put social media in this. Sharing your stuff with people are gonna lead you like to big things. You don't have to have the best camera or like the best studio. Actually, my studio is in my living room. I haven't like it's a step by step, and also small progress is still progress. You don't have to have like a big studio or whatever. And a lot of people think that you need like a lot of things, like make an investment and merch and stuff. I was looking at my old pictures the other day, and I just had like 4 mugs, 3 prints. I didn't even have like stickers or anything. 3 things that I have. So that's how I started. I didn't start with like almost like 35 products and like over like 3,000 different like illustrations. It's a lot.
Sure.
But I mean, if you're going to start, just start a little. You just have to like believe in what you do and just go for it.
I think that is very innate trait for successful artists and entrepreneurs. So I'm going to probe a little bit more on that, right? So like you said, the difficult times will come ultimately, right?
Always. Yeah.
How did you get yourself over that, right? So I get it. Everybody, it's a mindset thing too, right?
Yeah,
is that something that is very innate in you?
It's hard. It's a practice.
Right.
That I'm not really good at it. Yeah, I freak out.
Okay, so
I was freaking out yesterday, you know. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Got it. Okay.
And sometimes I think, I'm gonna be able to do this forever. What if something happens? You start like freaking out and that. But I think with like family support, your friends support, and also again, this is gonna sound like very hippie or I don't know, but like believing in what you do, like that's gonna attract that kind of energy, you know, to that. And also like loving the things that you do when you present it to people. It's different if you, for example, order stuff and they're not yours or whatever, and you just have to sell them and put them over there. But when it's yours, you're going to attract that. You know, this is what I do. Look how cute. Even if it's not the great thing, also is that it doesn't have to be, for example, artists. It doesn't have to be like Picasso paintings like whatever, like the technique, this. It can be whatever you want. While it comes from your heart, people are going to be. There's tons of artists. The most complicated ones, the most like simple ones. So there's like in this world there's a space like for everybody.
And I appreciate what you share there. You are walking the walk, right? Which is you show up to all the markets.
Yes.
You show up. You say you seem to be saying yes to anything that allows for you to get your art out there, right? And your art reflects that to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
And so I think in today's world, again, with technologies and there's just so much, right? And
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of noise, right?
Yeah.
And it just seems very without because you have the marketing background. Without the heavy marketing or PR, it just seems like you're able to craft a very succinct, good narrative around first your own personal brand, but then also your art that also reaches a wide audience, right? Whether kids all the way up to adults. Is unique where people feel connection to it.
Feel connected to it.
So I asked about process earlier. Do you find yourself refining your work over time, or you just always kind of go with the flow?
No, well, I try to go with the flow, but also everything is practice. So you can go with the flow, and of course you're gonna get better every time because you're gonna learn things with experience. You know, my first market, I think it was like a mess.
Sure.
And I had like very messy ones like a few months ago, like wind or rain, or you're never gonna be like 100% prepared for like when the difficult things are coming. But I mean, it just go with the flow, love what you do, and that's gonna lead you like to great things. Also, I like to be like everywhere, and this is not because like sometimes it's not like just like a money thing because people like relate like business just with money. It's like a very like a personal challenge. So I want to be like out there. I want to be. I have my art. I feel it has like a purpose. That's also important in a business to have a purpose, not just like making money, selling stuff, and that's it.
Right.
I want to make people happy. I want to make people smile with my art. I think that's very important, and we need it like so much. That's one of the reasons that I started like doing in Venezuela because it was like very difficult over there. And I started actually doing like some political like illustrations, but like in a funny way that make people laugh instead of being like the horrible part of the thing.
Right.
Or like very peaceful, like peace related and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a journey. So.
And you just share that, right? When I see it again, even this literally the first time we met in person,
Yeah.
right? And I can see the symbolism of just happiness, right?
Yeah.
And also, what I also know that you're unique in that you adapt to the local theme as well. So you have
Oh, yes.
Gainesville stuff and Florida stuff, and
That's kind of like new, but yeah.
right. So you're also very nimble in that regards, where you're in the environment, so you got to step into it.
Yes.
And yet at the same time, whether it's Gainesville or elsewhere, you can tell that it's your signature
Yeah.
work.
So I noticed with all the Gainesville stuff, I started to do, I illustrate what I want,
Yeah.
besides like the commissions and stuff like that. But I noticed it was like a little bit like, let's call it like a niche. I don't know, like a little hole in that market, like from Gainesville souvenirs. So
love it.
because everything is like Gators related,
Yep,
which is
yep.
great if you love football, but not everybody loves football. People like other things like nature or like going to a different areas of the town. I was like, okay, I want to, and also I'm very like I love nature. It's one of my inspirations. Everything, most of my illustrations are like animals, so everything has plants and a lot of stuff. So I noticed that was like, okay, there's no cute Gainesville like souvenirs. Let's just like approach that. And it's been great. I don't know how many of the first Gainesville illustration that I did I sold already, but a bunch. So I'm reaching that point that I'm like, okay, everybody in Gainesville is gonna have that poster. Now what? So what I'm gonna do. Right. And also I'm doing like the tote bags, which are like very like new, with a new design that I did from Gainesville. And I was doing some math the other day, and I saw like over 300. Yeah, 300.
Nice.
Which is a big number, like for me, for like 300 people walking with a bag.
Yeah.
It's insane. So if you put them in a room together, it's a lot. So it's a bit like a very big like accomplishment that I reach. So yeah, it's great. I mean,
right.
And also I did that art because I'm super grateful with the town. That was like the first. Like the purpose of it, like being thankful because, it's a place where I can do art for a living for the very first time. So I'm really like attached to town. Nobody can talk to me like bad about Gainesville because I'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, it's great.
Well, and that's why I point out you're a lot of markets because you thoroughly enjoy meeting
I
with people.
love it.
That's the other part too, right? Because it's not just you're behind Etsy or like some digital. You're out there really
talking to people
and building a relationship as well.
Yes,
right?
I've done like friends in markets. So they
Right.
started buying me stuff, and we became friends.
Right.
So yeah, it's great. Again, the community is great, and also like not just the business community, like local business community, also like the people that buy things from you. They recommend you. They sometimes they reach out of you. Listen, there's this spot where you can put your art and stuff. I love to see that over there. It's great. I really love it.
And so you started with illustration.
Yes.
And that's a digital process.
When I started,
Right.
2014, it was with markers on like a paper.
Okay.
So everything started with markers, and then I took it to Illustrator, and I did my a little bit of digital process over there. But at the beginning, it was very like with markers and stuff.
So very hands-on.
Yeah. After that, when we moved to when we moved to Gainesville, I was like, oh, let me try with the iPad because I saw on Instagram that everybody was like, with an iPad. And I was getting like so many commissions and stuff, and I was like growing, and I was like, okay, this paper or markers, Illustrator stuff, it's getting like too slow. And at that moment, I was also working full-time. Because at the beginning, I had to work in another things. I work in the Jewelry Inn. It's a hotel, it's a front desk for kind of like 3 years. So the full-time job plus doing my art like in a slow way, it was not like, okay, this is gonna take forever to reach, like to be able at least to go part-time or to quit and make this for a living. So I got the iPad, and also it's faster. Sometimes people think that it's not like really art. It's not like original because it's, but with the iPad I also do my sketch. I do my marker, and I paint everything like myself. So it's technology. Technology if you use it in a good way, it can create like amazing things.
So that again, just
it's like the purpose of the stuff.
And it just shows that you evolve as you need to with time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I asked that because you're also now doing large-scale murals as well too, right?
Exactly.
So it seems to me, at least what you share, it's a very passion project for you as well. And so when you approach a mural, is it just strictly commission, or do you have the freedom to?
Sometimes I have freedom to do what I want to do, and sometimes I have the prompts. But again, this is like, listen, I want alligators. The ones that I've done, they're more like nature inclined. So they give me like the things that they want, the items, and then I set up everything as I want. So again, I have freedom. I just have to include what the client wants. But I never had somebody, for example, I can't, if you tell me, oh, can you do this mug exactly in the wall? That's not my way of doing art. I only do art the way that I like, that is my like scent, my. Also, I didn't like went to college or art study or anything, so I only basically can do what I can do. But that's the way it is, and I'm really grateful that people have been like giving me freedom to do my art the way that I want.
So I have one more question. I'll turn it over to the audience. Given you're really embracing the Gainesville community, and you're really seeing your work as something that is now almost becomes the fabric of it, because you're starting to see, right?
Yeah.
I have many questions. For example, the installation that you did of a Hyatt place, which is unique.
Oh, yes.
Right? So my last question is, share a bit about collaboration. Have you done more collaboration with other artists? And so what is, how do you see collaboration as part of you as an artist, but also as an entrepreneur moving forward?
No, I mean, collaborations with another like business or another artist, they have to happen. It's the only way that you can like support each other, like reach a lot of audiences and stuff. Again, I did a collaboration with Reggie that he does the candles. So he created we tried to create like a scent that represents my illustrations, like, very like tropical, happy, very like fruity. So that's great, because I mean, you can put your name out, and like they have to happen, and it's great for entrepreneurs. Collaborating with another small businesses is great, and also if you do it like with big companies or stuff like that, I mean, you never know who's watching. So you never know who. For example, Reggie takes the candles to a show that he does in Chicago. He doesn't like sell them like a lot, but he promotes it. Listen, I did this with another artist, and so people maybe they can reach out to me for another things like more my art related. So it's great. Collaborations are amazing.
So do you see part of that collaboration, and I'm cheating a little bit for the next question, is maybe in other media, for example, maybe like a cartoon, or did you imagine that for yourself in terms of other medium and really mediums. Make it more interactive,
exactly.
Make it
and also like collaborations. I mean, you don't know how to do everything,
sure.
And the way to reach another places is like collaborating with other people, so they can, for example, that animation. So if somebody wants like, listen, let's do a cartoon, of course, let's do it. I mean, you can't. You don't know how, maybe for example myself, I don't know how to do the cartoon and do the animation and do this and do that, so I don't have idea. So you need to like build that connections with another business.
So what I'm hearing is that she's welcoming all collaborations, so animators and others, you can be found pretty much in most of the markets here, and especially your Instagram is here.
It's over there.
So thank you for this conversation, and
so
now the audience out there, thank you.
So if you have any questions, just
Hi, I'm Camilo. Thank you for sharing so openly with us and for hosting this. I was curious about your thoughts on AI art and AI tools for art, whether or not you use them or if you have opinions about them. I just would love to.
I don't know if it's because I'm old school already. So again, technology is great if you use it like in a positive way. But with this AI, it's kind of like complicated because, I mean, the creativity of a human, it can never be replaced by a robot or whatever. It's completely different, because they're copying us, But I mean, I don't even know what to say because I don't use it. I haven't used it yet. I saw videos where people just type what they want in the thing over there. That's gonna be risky, for example, for like graphic designers or stuff like it. But again, you can't replace like human thoughts with. It's gonna be an easy tool. It's gonna be like less expensive than paying someone, of course, because you're gonna have access. Everybody can have access to it. But I mean, if you want to if you're gonna like commission some art, or if you're gonna do something, I mean, a human thought will be, and also you talk with a person, you have that kind of connection. So I don't like it so much. I'm a little,
that's okay.
It's like, but I don't know. Amazing things can happen as well. It's very new, so who knows what can happen. So if you want to use it, go for it. And so yeah, so that's what I thought like about I'm gonna have to train like Sarah Connor to see what's gonna happen, but who knows? Yeah.
So I had actually like 5 questions.
Okay.
But Juan, he like hit 3 or 4 of these during your conversation. But I'm going to piggyback off of what he asked about technology, but not in the AI space.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, have you looked at or do you have any thoughts on doing stuff like, let's say, the digital, like the NFTs, doing that?
Yeah, so I've done like 2 years, it was like 2 years ago. We tried with the NFTs. I saw a couple, but again, I mean, I don't know how that's gonna, like, everybody says that it's gonna be like the new thing and everything is gonna be like NFTs. Also, again, it's generated by humans, even if it's digital or whatever. But I think that one, it's like a good tool as well. It's like, I see it as a collectible, like cards that, you know, you had when you were a kid. So that's the way that I see it. So if you want to invest in that, I think it's great to have like collectibles and things like that. But again, it's not the same as having the thing in your own hands and watching like every day, because I feel that's leading people just to watch like the phone, the screen. So it's kind of like crazy. So I did like a couple, I saw them, but I was like, okay, this is another different world that I will have to invest all my time in if I want to, you know, have success or whatever. But again, it's great, but at the same, it's like confusing. So.
You also talked about about like collaborations, but I was just so curious: are there illustrators or artists that you, let's say, follow, admire, or role models, or that inspire you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's a lot. There's like a bunch of them. There's, again, with social media, you can know like a lot of artists and reach out to people more. One of my favorite ones is Lisa Condon. She is, she actually, I admire her because she started when she was 30-something with art. So now, she was a teacher before, and now she's a full-time artist, and she works with Google, with a lot of like big companies. She's one of my favorites. But I also have a lot. And also like in Gainesville, there is a bunch of like great artists that I always say that they need to like be out a little bit more. And I'm always like encouraging that in people, like, listen, go and sell your art. Oh, I don't know if it's good enough. And I'm like, no, you can do it. But yeah, so Lisa is one of my favorite ones. And there's for sure like a bunch over there, but probably not like famous at all, just like small like artists. Yeah.
Then a final one. So art, this seems to be a passion for you, is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Now for some people, if they try to make a living off their passion, then it, like, I don't want to say they get tired of it, but it's, how do you balance the two?
Like passion? Oh, like you mean like passion with job?
Right.
Oh my God, yeah. It's a little bit complicated, but there's this saying that I say that if you do what you love, you're never gonna work in your life. That's not like completely true, because you love it, but you're gonna have like, you know, it's work anyway. So I try to balance it, like taking for example, like the commissions more like as a work, and then the other illustrations that I do, that I make them like for the stickers and the stuff, more like for like myself. I call them my illustrations. So I think I create that balance with that, creating like the commissions and seeing those as work like serious, because I have deadlines and I have this. With the other things, I do not.
Okay.
So I think that I create that balance, and that creating for myself and sharing it anyway, and also creating for other people. But yeah, again, you need days off, and you need to lay on the couch sometimes. Sometimes, I have this idea, but I just take a note on a side. Okay, when I start working, I'm gonna do that again. Yes.
Any other questions?
Anybody else? Good.
You don't? I'll jump back in. So I really appreciate some of the questions about AI and technologies, right? This very building that we're in right now, right? It's a beautiful building. It has all the amenities, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that Higher Place, right?
Yeah.
And yet some of the buildings I'm realizing now, you have the modern convenience and luxury, but it sort of lacks the creativity and the soul
Yeah.
that you need as human occupying it, right? And so how would you approach partnering up with more institutions like a city or like a university or college? Have you thought about that at all, or?
I've thought about it. Like, for example, like I work already for the art, like the Alachua city, but that was like one lady that she was buying my stuff in a market, that she works there, and then she recommended my work. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about connections and like putting yourself out.
Right.
If you're like doing your art at your house and you're not like do videos, or if you put yourself out, even if it's like, it doesn't have to be a market, it could be whatever. There's a lot of people that do like this networking things, so in those places you can meet like a lot of people, like share your business card or what you do or whatever. So that's what I'm talking about, the connections that are really important to put yourself out as an artist or as a small business.
Right.
But yeah, I want to do definitely like more like community involved art with like maybe, yeah, like to say like university or any other places. I also like donated a mural for the Alachua Animal Resources. It's a shelter.
Sure.
So that's also like a way to reach and to put yourself out and know. So I always do this like once a year. I like to donate pieces or something. So I decided to create, like to do this mural. They reach out of me as well, but I decided also like to listen. Let's do this by donation, and if you can get me volunteers. So they put it in like in the news.
Right,
So
right.
a few people like show up, like kids and stuff like that. They started like to paint all that, and that's how you build like a good community group, or you can put yourself out and be noticeable.
Well, again, so like being here, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
in the audience, we have, the board of Start GMB, you have representative from Santa Fe, I'm planting a seed, is really saying, hey, I think more than ever, I believe that art is something that's very human, right?
Yeah, it's
and we need more of
completely
it,
human.
right? And
It's putting yourself out. I was talking to my husband yesterday. I was like, my art is not just like the business of putting the thing and selling it. I'm putting myself out, and that's terrifying. That's why a lot of people are afraid to put their art out and to show themselves.
Right.
I knew a great artist that we did like a mural together. I mean, like a volunteering thing. She's amazing, but she's like, my art is for myself. I don't like share it.
Right.
Because it's like. And that's I understand that part too, but I feel that you can also create something that is not like so personal and still putting yourself out. So, yeah.
So any last questions from the audience?
Yeah. Good.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank
you
you,
for
everybody.
having me.
See you next Thursday.
you.